Yo, y'all listen up. I got something to say. I'm going to speak the truth to you, but some of y'all, you took a shortcut, a convenience this summer. You was like, coach ain't here. The season's weeks away. I got time. Are you kidding me? As a college athlete, you got 4, maybe 5 years to be great or be forgotten. So while you home taking it easy, somebody else is out there in the heat just about killing themselves to make their name great. But you got time. Insane. Yeah. My heart is purple and gold. I'm a pirate down to my soul. And I don't back down, not at all. Find out when the cannons explode. From the sidelines down to the post. Put it down like not even close. All out to the last whistle blow. From the flag with the soul and crossbones. Everybody stand up, get your hands up. Let a team know that we got they back. This is our house.
Yo, what is good, y'all? Thank y'all for joining us here for another episode of the Athletes Table Podcast. I'm your host, Dylan Kraft, and alongside me is the Lebanese Stallion and Mr. AC Coop. What's going on, y'all?
What is good?
Not much.
Man, we've had a productive start to the year.
I know.
This has been awesome.
I think this is interview number 4 already for the new year.
Yep. Number 4 is going to be the 5th episode of the year so far. At least for the interview-wise. Midweek breakdown is going to be a little bit different. I am excited to start getting back into that because we're going to get into a different sport. I'm not a basketball guy, so I got to do my research. But yeah, man. What have y'all's takes been so far on the first little bit of the year?
Man, it's been fun. Whether it's been athlete or interviewing athletes wise, it's been good. Or if it's been about watching college sports, I mean, it's been pretty intense. And I know the NFL right now is going on with the playoffs, so it's been fun too. A little bit of everything everywhere.
Yeah, a lot of sports.
Yeah, me and Javon, we sat down to record the Risky Business podcast, and I went to edit it this morning, and turns out the audio didn't go through. So we got to go back and redo that. But we went like real deep into the NFL playoffs, especially after we saw Philly lose to Tampa, which I know we're happy about, us being Florida. Any Florida sport fan, we love that. So. But we're not going to waste any more time, man. We're going to go right into our player segment.
The point of this podcast, like and what we're trying to get out to people, is everyone's journey is different.
Winners and try to strip them to take away that they're just good.
Yeah.
Just admit they're good.
The funny thing about this game, you fail 70% of the time.
As long as you can have the determination and never give up, you have the world in your hands.
The greatest glory in living lies not in never failing, but rising in every single time we fall.
So we are here today with a good buddy of ours from high school. Did y'all catch any of that?
Okay.
Yeah. Good buddy of ours from high school, Eddie Pinon, national champion at the Division II soccer level at Pfeiffer. I believe conference champion, if I'm not mistaken. But Eddie, welcome to the show. How you doing today?
Thank you. Yeah, doing great. It's a pleasure to be here. Honored to be here. Thank you for reaching out, and look forward to a great conversation.
Yeah, definitely, for sure. I've been looking forward to it. I know you and I have been talking back and forth for the last few days, so it's been exciting. But I'm ready to get down deep into it, and I'll let Dylan go ahead and start it off.
Yeah, definitely, man. So we kind of start this a little bit similar and kind of branch off to whichever way that you're wanting to go. So just start out with, just give us your origin story. Let us know where you grew up, what's your family life like, and what was your introduction to sports?
Yeah. So I grew up here in Raleigh, North Carolina, born and raised here. But my parents are actually from St. Louis, and that's sort of how I got into sports. My dad played pro soccer here in the U.S. for 7 years, played for Syracuse and St. Louis University in college as well. And he's a really talented player and now coaches soccer. And so when I was about 3 or 4 years old, he had me out there playing on the soccer field. They actually started a local soccer league called Kicking for the Cross. It was a good little outreach program. And, that was something that I did when I was younger. Through about 5th grade, and then kind of moved on to sort of some classic higher level soccer, and just kind of went on from there. So that's a little bit of the background and where I started.
Can't forget the mullet your dad had. That's all I gotta say.
Oh man.
Oh, you brought that up. That scars my mind. I remember seeing that. That was strange. That was very strange. I don't know why your dad liked it, but
He loved it. My mom always said, if I knew you back then, I would have never dated you.
And there's nothing wrong with a good mullet. Never anything wrong.
He got curly hair too, so
it works out well.
Yeah.
That's great. That's great. So soccer, you just inherited it from your dad. You had basically it's one of those things like, yeah, you are going to play soccer no matter what.
Yeah, it was, but there wasn't, I know in some scenarios there can be a whole lot of pressure to go and play, and that wasn't the case. There wasn't this huge like burden that I felt that I had to play soccer. I really I love the sport. Yeah. I'm still involved in it today, and I do some coaching. But there wasn't that real huge weight on my shoulders that I had to play soccer and I had to perform and be really successful. So I think I really appreciated that from my parents.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Was your dad your coach basically growing up?
He was, which that can be good and bad.
Yeah.
And then there were also, as I got into high school, I had other coaches, but definitely as I was younger, he was the head coach. And you get into the car after those games when you're not performing well, and oh, buddy, you hear it.
Those are tough.
Yeah,
those are tough.
Even at the varsity level, your dad was like that, I bet too.
Oh yeah. He let me have it.
Was there a good? I know we interviewed somebody the other day. His dad was also his coach and now AD at his high school. But was your dad one of those guys as soon as you kind of got into the car, he cut it off? Or was it more like as soon as you got into the car, he just went off about like what you did wrong, what you did right, all that kind of stuff?
I wouldn't say, that it was like right away. But, once I would ask the question, hey, what'd you think?
You're initiating
it. Because I knew you got to hear it. You got to let it out. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't always really bad. There was always good, positive feedback, and it was stuff I needed to hear and, helped keep me humble as well.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah, that brings up scars. Brings up a lot of bad conversations.
Yeah, I didn't have
my dad was
really like that at all for football. My dad's just like, keep trying your best or whatever. I got lucky with that. I don't think I could deal with my dad the same way if it was for football and he was trying to tell me what I did wrong. If I didn't play much, I got lucky. If I played a lot, I'm pretty sure my dad would be like, all right, you suck. I'm like, all right, thanks, Dad. I love you. Gotta go.
It's like we talked about the other day. It's hard for dads to coach their kids and to break that barrier of like you're going to be your coach at one point and you're going to be your father at another point. Yeah. It's a very tough barrier to try to keep.
Yeah, and and as a coach now, I can see, and I coach 7-year-old boys for soccer, and so I can see some parents kind of reliving their glory days through their kids. And
you would hate me. You are lucky, Eddie. You didn't have me on the sideline. My little brother would play soccer, dude. I'd be like halfway on the field yelling at the kids, dude. It would be bad. My dad's like, Aaron, get back. I'm like, Dad, you don't understand. I'm a part of the team. Slowly walking on, yelling. I yelled to go like, hey, kick it down until he scores. I'm like, yeah, let's go. I'm like, I shouldn't be out here. This is really bad. The parents looked at me. No, I swear, it got to the point where like there was one kid. He was trying. It was like one of those kids like, hey, my mom said I have to play a sport. This is what I'm trying to play, right? And he doesn't really like it, yada, yada. It's not really a sport for him. And, like, he wouldn't play or he would miss the ball. I'm like, God, that kid sucks. And my son almost goes, Aaron, his mom's right behind us. I'm like, well, she should know. I was like, I feel bad, but You gotta make them be humble and young. I don't know. I try to, I never. I'm a bad person. It's whatever. Whatever.
So to transition from there, man. Did
Rough
you
transition.
have did you have a point whenever you were younger that you were like, okay, I actually want to legit try to play this and make it to the next level? Like, did you ever have like a turning point, any specific time frame that you're like, okay, like the gears are switching?
I think when I was in, about 5th grade, I had to make a choice between sports. So growing up, I played soccer and baseball, and loved playing baseball. I mean, it was a lot of fun. My dad played baseball as well, and my family in St. Louis are massive Cardinals fans. So there's a baseball, blood in me as well, and I loved it. But right around 5th grade, 5th, 6th grade, the time commitment, for soccer just started to go up. And then at the flip side, it was like baseball. The coaches were like, hey, it's time to kind of step up and do a little bit more travel ball and get a little bit more competitive. And that was when I had to make that decision, and really my love for soccer shown there. And that was why I picked soccer. And that was kind of the moment, I guess, where you start taking it a little bit more seriously and spending more time in the craft and trying to get better.
Definitely.
And that's pretty young.
Yeah,
that's a lot younger than we've heard some other athletes have told us so far.
Some have been like 17, some have been like 13,
Yeah.
15, 15.
Usually we're hearing like 15, 16 around in there. It's like right around like sophomore, junior year of high school. And they're starting to see, like, exactly like you said, time commitments are starting to get more and more intense. Especially if you want to train to get to that higher level, the amount of time that you have to take in order to build that skill, because that's what gets you to the next level of skill. Yeah. So you're saying around like 5th grade? That's early, man.
Oh, this is about 11, 12 years old. Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty early. So were you at that point? Were you playing any type of travel ball, club ball, anything like that?
Yeah, I was. So, 6th grade, middle school soccer started. So I had the opportunity to make the middle school team, and super grateful for that opportunity and to be able to do that. And then at the same time, played for a soccer club that is called Carolina Soccer Club, and it's now under the umbrella of North Carolina FC. And there was a ton of different clubs before that, but now it's kind of merged together. So played for Carolina all the way through high school, actually. So stayed with them all the way through. But right around 6th, 7th grade, it was more of a lower level sort of classic team. And then as I got into 8th, 9th grade was when I got the opportunity to play on the top team in the age group for the club, and was able to play with some really great players, and really grateful for that opportunity.
Definitely. Wow. And you were playing school ball the whole way through with that as well.
Yeah. And that was really the time commitment. Especially in the fall, because that was when middle school soccer was. I'd go from, you go to school till 3:00. You go to middle school practice till 4:30. You try to wolf down some food at some point as you're driving to your next practice for club. You get home at like 7:30. You're trying to get homework done, maybe eat some more food because you're starving, and then, go to bed, and you're doing it all over the next day. So it was busy. It was a lot. But I think that, helped teach me a lot of time management, and, really helped me value everything that I was doing with soccer. And,
Which one do you think was more beneficial for you, the school ball or the club team?
That's tough. It's different. I think becoming, an even better player, club ball, you're just playing with better players, especially when I was in high school. But the high school team is just a lot of fun. You're playing with your classmates, and
Yeah.
that, like, team bonding, team chemistry is like nothing else. It's super special. Especially my junior year, when we won states, that was just a super special team, and that team chemistry was like no other. And I think that's unique to the high school ball, is to have that chemistry. It can be tough, doing club and travel ball and not always seeing the guys every day and not interacting with them as often as you do with school.
Yeah.
That's another point. I'm glad you said that. That's actually a really interesting idea. You see in professional sports all over. You see guys having a tough time staying in one spot, and a lot of it has to do with money. Probably another idea is exactly what you said. The guys that are playing professional sports now, whenever they were younger, that was like when the whole travel, AAU, all that was like really in full effect. And like, you see it now, but that's like whenever it was like really big, is whenever we were younger. So that might have a really strong impact on the way guys see staying on teams, being loyal to like their teammates and everything else, because it just feels like the loyalty and everything in professional sports is not there.
Yeah.
Not what we saw in years past.
No.
Oh yeah.
It's changed. It's changed a lot.
So to me, that's an interesting idea of like valuing the team, the school team sports opposed to the travel team and everything. It's like you do club, you do travel, you're playing with a bunch of different teams. You might get a call saying, "Hey, we need you to go play in a tournament." I know, like you said, you stayed on the same club throughout high school. Well, you can go into middle school and high school, so you don't really hear that though. In like a lot of different sports, you hear guys bouncing from club to club to club to club to club to different travel team. We're playing one weekend and another weekend, everything else, and it's like, what are you teaching this kid?
Yeah,
it's a mentality thing.
It is. It really is, because like who was it? Jackson Hawthorne. Back in the day, he quit school ball just to play club ball and ended up going to Kentucky, and then that was kind of the end for him. That was his ultimate goal, was just to play college ball or whatever. But he had stayed kind of like you, same club team all year long, or all, I want to say like 6 years out of middle school and high school together. So you're seeing a little bit more in the club realm after our classes.
Yep.
Before, it was every time, if I'm not getting enough playing time, I'm just going to move. I'm not going to stay at the same team. And it goes what you see in professional sports today. And it seems like most people herald like the Damian Lillards, the Tom Brady's, the Aaron Rodgers, the ones who stay with their team for 10 plus years and are willing to sacrifice that pay to win championships, or to make a team bonding experience to win championships. It all comes back to the championships, obviously, but it all plays hand in hand.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you see all the big time guys taking these big contracts.
Yeah,
you're taking money away from your team to be a winner.
Yeah.
I think as a superstar, you should be sacrificing money, because you have the ability to make money off the field. If like Damian Lillard, if he can't go off the court and go make money in sponsorships and make double, triple the amount that he's making on the court, you're an idiot, dude. I'm just being honest with you. Like, if you can't make that money, you're just dumb. Exactly. Obviously, you're not hiring the right people or whatever. So, like, for them to be taking that amount of pay and sacrificing them being able to get top talent to play with.
Yep.
Yeah.
What are you playing for, man?
Yeah.
Yeah. A paycheck. Not paying for anything else.
Yeah, I mean, it's selfish.
That's what sports is getting away from, sadly. It's a lot more of money, money, money. Oh, who's going to pay me more? Who's going to pay me more? I don't really care if they're good or not. Like, it's gotten a lot away from that now. It's kind of, I don't really want to play with somebody. I just want to make the most money I can.
Yeah.
It's just sad.
You're going to make money in professional sports, man. You're all millionaires.
Exactly.
It doesn't matter. Like, you all got money. How much do you need?
Exactly.
But
exactly. It's and the tides are slowly changing back, but it's going to take, I think, a little longer than expected to get back. Personally, but go back into your story. Which one was club sports or school ball helped you get recruited more? Because I know some people say school ball did it, and some people say club sports did it.
Yeah. From a soccer perspective, definitely club ball. There's, especially here in the U.S., we call them showcase tournaments. Especially there's a lot of them along the East Coast. Some big ones in Florida and here in North Carolina, Virginia, that all college coaches will come to, and you can basically play in front of a couple hundred college coaches within a weekend and get a lot of eyes on you. And that's really the easiest way to be seen by different colleges. And that was really how I was seen by Pfeiffer. But it was kind of wild, the first connection with Pfeiffer, because I had never heard of the school before. I was like, what? How do you pronounce this? Pfeiffer? What is this?
I still feel like that to this day.
So we were looking at colleges that were going to show up to this tournament. I don't remember which one it was. And my dad was helping me look at some different smaller schools because I knew I just wasn't good enough to play at Division I, and I wanted to get playing time. So I was looking at Division II and Division III schools. And he saw that the head coach at Pfeiffer, he was like, Bob Rasso. He's like, I know that name. Hold on. And he realized that when my dad was playing at Syracuse, that Bob Rasso was the head coach at Rutgers back then. My dad played against him when Syracuse and Rutgers played against each other. And I think my dad scored the game tying goal too to make it 1-1. So he was like, hey, I know this guy. That was a good team. You should check this school out. Like, it's got to be like pretty decent. Then we send an email. Hey, these are our games. We'd love for you guys to come and watch me. And the assistant coach, Ian McMichael, came and watched some games and, really liked me and came out to a few other games during the season. And, that was how I was able to get a spot on the team. So it was just kind of crazy.
Hell yeah.
So what years were you at Pfeiffer?
2015 to 2019.
He was our class.
Yep.
Did you know many of the baseball players?
I saw that you guys interviewed Andrew too. And
Yeah.
Dude, he's great. He's awesome.
Yeah, Andrew, I grew up with him. I met him my freshman year of high school, and I've known him ever since. I actually talked to him today. So that's my boy. Yeah, that's why I had to ask whenever Nick told me, he's like, "Yeah, we got a Pfeiffer play." I'm like, "Huh, okay,
yep,
cool,
yeah,
all right."
Pfeiffer's not that big. Yeah, I know.
That's what he told me.
Yeah,
you graduated like a year or two before us.
Yeah, it was the year before one. No, I think it was 2018. It was
2018. Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay. Yeah.
Because he was there for 2 years, 3 years. I can't remember. Okay. I know he was at Brunswick Community for a couple.
Yeah, that's where the timeline. I'm not sure about when he actually graduated.
Yeah, I should know this, but I don't. Sorry, Andrew, if you're gonna listen. But so okay, yeah, we'll go ahead, Nick.
I was gonna say, transitioning to the college game. Now that you're done with playing club and school ball, it's just school ball now. What was that whole transition of just playing for one team only? Yes, it was college, but what was that whole transition like your freshman year?
Yeah, it was different. There was a huge sort of culture shocks and just a lot of changes, playing for college. It was amazing to just walk out of the dorm room and walk to the practice field. I mean, that was the first thing. I was like, this is awesome. Like, I'm not 45 minutes to practice. I love this.
Yep.
But being at Pfeiffer, we had, I had the opportunity to play with some really great players from all over the world. And so I kind of came in, I had won the state tournament in high school, and I'd been successful as a club soccer player. So I thought, I was pretty good. And I walk into our first kind of lunch meeting day one before we get on the field, and I see I see guys giving each other hugs, kissing on the cheek. What is this?
Very European.
start hearing Spanish. I'm like, I recognize that. Like, that sounds like something I learned in class in high school. Then I heard, which I had never heard before. And then I started hearing Portuguese too. I'm like, what did I just walk into? Oh no. And then I like see off to the side, I see all these like American dudes. Like, okay, I can talk to them. I can sit next to them.
I gotta go.
Oh geez.
Doing a full-on League of Nations meeting. You're like, let me find my group.
It was crazy. I mean, we had Chilean, Brazilian, Colombian, Argentinian, so a couple Mexicans, Trinidadian, French guys, Serbian, Portuguese, Spanish. At one point, we had an English dude come in too. I mean, it was really all over the world.
That's crazy.
Wow.
Yeah.
So then, what year was it that you guys ended up winning everything together?
Yeah, so that was my freshman year.
Okay.
Yeah, so I walk into the team and kind of thinking like I can do this, and then get onto the field and I'm like, whoa, I need to raise my level a lot. I mean, these are some talented guys, and it was a lot of fun. Getting out, working in practice week in week out, trying to get better. And the beginning of the season was really humbling for me. I didn't make the travel squad, and that was hard. It was, there was about 20 to 25 guys that would travel to the games, and I wasn't in that number at the beginning, and that was tough. It was not an easy pill to swallow, and not something that I had really faced before. And just had to keep grinding every single day, and then as the season kind of moved on, about second half of the season, I started to make the travel squad, which was amazing.
Hell yeah!
And then on the way through the tournament, I was able to travel with the team and be a part of the games, and it was just an incredible experience. We went undefeated, 25-0, and won the national championship. So that's
unheard of.
That's
unheard of. 25-0.
Yeah, it was incredible.
Insane.
Yeah, amazing experience.
So how long would you say it really took you to actually like get to the confidence level of saying I can play at this speed?
I mean, probably a solid month, maybe a little bit longer. I mean, it took me a while just to get up to speed. I mean, especially at the beginning, there were days where it was like, hey, if I don't get negged today in practice, it's a win. It's good. It was tough. I mean, these guys were super talented, players. For any of you guys that know of the clubs that are in England, we had, or in Europe, we had a guy that was in Real Madrid's academy. He was our starting winger. We had a guy that played at Sporting Lisbon, which is one of the best clubs in Portugal. We had another guy that played at Benfica, which is another one of the best clubs in Portugal.
That's insane.
A guy from Lyon, which is a really good team in France. We had a guy who had played for the youth Serbian national team. We had a guy that played for Colombia's youth national team. We had a Chilean that was scouted by Chelsea, and they wanted him, but they didn't. And so our coach, who had connections with the Chelsea scouts, was able to get him and him up.
Jeez.
So it's just like you just start running down the list of guys. I mean, it was an incredible talent, something that I had never seen before. It was amazing. It helped me to become a better player, to play to that speed of the game, and then also just to understand the game even better. I think my I like soccer IQ just soared.
So what was the draw for these level of players to go to a little school called Pfeiffer in the middle of North Carolina, middle of nowhere, basically? What was why come here?
It's a great question. And my understanding of it is in Europe, especially where these guys were playing at, if you had an American degree in general, you were head and shoulders above everybody else. It didn't matter, what school it was from. It was just like, you've got an American degree, you're good to go. And it may have changed now, but that's kind of what they were telling us, because I've asked the same question. I'm like, what are you doing here
in their academy?
I can just imagine there was like a group of guys like, hey guys, where do you want to go to a club and take over the entire season? Let's all meet up here. See you there in a week. Let's go, boys. We ride.
Yeah, but I mean, the other part too is they have these showcase events too in Europe. And our coach, Reasso, he was able to go to these events and could see some of these players. So we had guys that basically were not good enough to get a pro contract, even though some of them might have been like right on the brink of getting one.
Yeah.
And then they realized they weren't going to get it, and it's cutthroat in Europe. If you're not good enough, like, you're gone. Sorry, we got somebody else coming in. And they were looking for an opportunity, and Pfeiffer came calling. And I mean, it's wild to have all of those talented players come in, and I think it's really the Lord, moving mountains and making it happen. I mean, it's just kind of crazy.
Absolutely.
So, around how old would you say some of these guys? Did you have any outliers that are like a little bit older than typically? What you would say?
All of them were older.
There's a reason I asked this.
Yeah. There's that's part of it too, right? I mean, I was 18 playing with 22-year-old freshmen, and I was you're like, well, this isn't fair.
You got a married, a wife and kids. What's going on? Something ain't right, man.
So. Yeah. The reason why I asked that is because I did track and field at East Carolina, so it's a big thing in track as well to have a lot of international students come overseas to play sports, and America, for the same exact reason, getting their degrees, because they're just valued higher back at home where they're from. But they went and they played with their clubs and everything, or their sporting teams, whatever they did, and later on they came back and they're like, hey, we can actually play in the United States, where our level is so much higher in this certain sport than it is in America. They're just able to come in, get free education, quote unquote. And it's so much easier for them to come over to America at a later age and just go ahead and get their education. Plus, American universities have to hit a diversity rate.
Yep.
Another thing they don't really talk about.
Yeah. I mean, that's part of it, I'm sure that's part of it. The other flip side too, as if you're a college coach and you're evaluating, do I want, a immature 18-year-old coming out of high school, or do I want somebody who
a grown man?
Yeah, he's a grown man. He's going to be mature and not going to get into trouble, and you got that side of it too, right? And he's been through it. He's played, and in some cases probably gotten paid in some way, shape, or form. And you got that part of it too. And it's definitely the landscape is different, especially with Division II sports. That's because you can, with Division II, you still have the opportunity to pay or to give scholarships for athletics, but Division II you don't, and so there's that kind of difference there.
So were you there whenever Pfeiffer went to a Division III?
Yep, I was. And that was another tough pill to swallow too. I mean, we were going on this incredible run. The way that we were able to win the games that we did, and I mean, our mantra for the season was "Unfalcon believable," because it really was, just the way that we were able to get through the whole season. And as we're in the NCAA tournament, the president of the school announces, we're going to be demoted from Division II to Division III. And we were like, what? What do you mean we're getting demoted? Like, what is this? Like, why?
We're going up, not down.
Exactly. Like, come on, we should be playing against Division I schools. Like, we are ballers. Like, what in the world? We kind of took it almost as like a slap in the face to an extent. And that was tough. And then for me, a lot of my class was decimated, just because of that decision. Because, the guys that came in with me, we didn't really get any athletic money, or not a lot, if there was some. And we're hoping that as we got older, we'd be able to earn some more. And that opportunity was taken away. So a lot of guys transferred out. And by the time I graduated, I was the only guy left from my recruiting class.
Wow.
Damn.
Did you ever think about leaving?
I did. Yeah, it crossed my mind. But, the Lord really blessed me with some great academic scholarships. And, it was really the best place to be for me.
Which is why you always do good in school.
Exactly.
Don't have study hall for 12 hours a week.
I still not comprehend what you're doing. No.
Yeah, 3 years straight. We're not gonna talk about that. Hey, we were throwers, man. We didn't do school. Okay, we were not there for that. We were lift heavy
I
weights.
throw stick good. That's what's going through Dylan's mind. I throw stick far, coach. I do good shot.
This is a team thing, okay? That's what cross country does. They get the 4.0 GPAs.
Oh, that's why. That's why you did track. You could be the dumb one. The other ones could be the smart one. Was that it? It's an average, team average, baby. I could be stupid. It still works out.
Somebody's got to party. Somebody's got to do the work. Work hard, play hard.
You just did the play, not the work.
Yeah. Hey, we embody the Pirates, man. We are the living definition of East Carolina.
Oh my goodness! Oh, there goes Aaron.
And we lost Aaron. This is becoming a recurring thing.
Yeah.
There he is.
I don't know where I went. I'm back.
Oh man.
Yeah. So, getting back on topic again. I'm getting really bad at this. So when did you start getting more play time?
Yeah. It was more so junior year.
Okay.
So obviously freshman year, we're going on this crazy run. It was crazy the way that we won all these games. And then sophomore year, we tried to run it back and weren't successful. We lost in the round Sweet 16 to Wingate. That was tough. And they ended up winning the national championship. The year before, we beat Wingate in the Sweet 16, and we won the national championship. So that was really the national championship game, basically.
Yeah.
Thank you for saying it correctly.
Yeah.
I had this argument the other day. Somebody said Wingate. I'm like, it's not Wingate. Wingate.
Right.
They're like, it does not. That's not how you read it. I'm like, that's how you say it.
It's not Salisbury. It's Salisbury.
Salisbury. Sounds better. Rolls off the tongue easier. Salisbury.
Catawba.
Yeah. That's it. Yeah. But so sophomore year we tried to run it back, and then we weren't successful. And you could tell it was different vibes that year. And then that was when all of the international guys graduated. And so then junior year, it was really like brand new squad. We were playing fully Division III at that point. So it was brand new teams we were playing against. And that was when I had my opportunities to get more playing time and take up a little bit more of a leadership role on the team. And but it was definitely unique. It was different those last couple of years. Not only with like the team changes, but because we moved from Division II to Division III, we weren't able to compete for any conference championships or any NCAA tournament championships. So it was really just a regular season, and that was it.
So weird, because almost every sport at Division III level has a championship.
Yeah.
I don't know about conference, but definitely an NCAA title championship.
And it was truly because we moved from Division II to Division III.
So they still had you guys sit out for those 2 years?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. See, I know going up a level or going from FCS to FBS in football, that's one thing. But going
you're
down,
James
you
Madison.
never really hear anybody going down and then having to sit out 2 years because of whatever reasons, right? That's really quite interesting. Wow.
And
I thought that was just after you is when that all happened.
And I can also see how that will affect recruiting too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Hey guys, we just get devoted. Let's.
Yeah. So we're not in Division 2 anymore. So you're telling me
exactly
I can go somewhere else. I can compete.
Now, is your coach now, Coach Rossi? Is he still there, or has he moved on to another Division 2 or Division 1 school?
Yeah, so Coach Rasso, he retired after my sophomore year, and kind of stepped away from coaching. He still does some coaching, and is still involved in the game, but not at like a college level. He kind of has his own. There's like a club kind of academy thing that he kind of helps run. At last I heard that's kind of what he was doing. And so our assistant coach, Tony Faticoni, great dude, love him. He's a massive guy too. He was Mr. New Jersey back in the day.
Really, oh heck yeah!
He was
big boy.
Massive, yeah. So he'd come, we joked the ground shook as he walked. He was our goalkeeper coach because he was the goalkeeper for Rutgers when Rasso was at Rutgers, and then my sophomore year he kind of stepped up to be kind of the head assistant, associate head coach, and then my junior year he was the head coach and is still the head coach there now.
Okay. So how did going through all that struggle? I know you and I had talked about stuff changing with your major and things like that throughout your time there. How did that play going from D1 to D2? And then what you had to work on the field to be able to get playing time, how did that affect your coursework and getting to your degree at the end of the time? Getting your diploma in hand.
Yeah. I think there was just a lot of changes. It wasn't easy. I think. It was difficult. But I think you gotta, especially from a course load standpoint, lean on advisors and people that are older than you that can give you wisdom and guidance as to sort of the right path, and a lot of prayer, asking the Lord to make it clear as to what He wants to do and what His plan is for your life, and that really helped from a classes standpoint. I had gone into college trying to do a kind of a 3-2 program and graduate with my MBA by the time after 5 years. About 2 years into it, I started asking some more questions about the MBA program and if it was really the best fit for me. I kind of evaluated and decided it really wasn't the best fit for me right at that time. Right. And then kind of scrambling to an extent, and had taken some accounting classes and decided to pick up an accounting major and finished out with an accounting degree. So that was kind of the change there. My last 2 years were a lot of accounting classes.
Oh yeah.
But it was good. And then that kind of leads me to what I'm doing today, being an accountant and target coach. So.
Okay.
Thank you.
That's what's up. Okay. And so has that, I know playing the game, and then I know you reffing when you were in high school, soccer, and then I know you were also, I believe you were helping coaching back in high school as well too. Yeah. That kind of lead into you wanting to be still around the game as a coach and not a referee, or did that kind of lead you into what kind of led into, hey, I want to still coach and be around that game, not be a referee necessarily?
Yeah. One, I did not enjoy reffing.
See, I love reffing. That's why I'm asking, because I coach and I ref, so I love both of those.
You just like getting yelled at, Nick.
More power to you. I cannot be a referee, man. No, my brother, he does it. Gabe's a ref and he loves it. I can't. It's not how God made me. He didn't give me that gift. And so I am not doing it. In high school, it was good money. I mean, it was great.
Mhm.
But, now that I don't have to, ref and I can choose to coach, that I'm going to coach
Absolutely.
every day of the week, twice on Sunday. And like, even I remember there was one day, I think it was like when I was in 8th grade at club practice. One of my teammates, we were doing some random drill, and I was like real vocal and encouraging, and he's like, Eddie, you'd be a great coach one day. Yay. And I've really enjoyed coaching. I love it. Love seeing the growth and being able to be part of the game. So
Absolutely. And then, so you're not the only Pinon besides you and your dad to play college soccer. Your brother played college soccer as well too. Did he learn a lot from you, do you think, or do you think he kind of just was like, I see my dad and my brother playing and everything like that, and just kind of picked it up and used you more as like, oh, I'll just watch what he does instead of actually ask questions to you when he was growing up playing?
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure he did learn a lot, but I think we're different players too.
Okay.
He plays the game differently than I do.
Mm-hmm.
He was a winger and a forward.
Okay.
I played more of a center back and kind of centered defensive mid role. So more of the defensive side. And so there's, just different aspects to our games. I think the Lord has kind of gifted him in different ways and kind of molded and shaped him to be a different player than me. And you kind of need that on the field. You can't
Absolutely.
have, 11 guys 30 exactly the same. But yeah, I think he probably did. He probably learned a little bit, and also probably learned what not to do, and then do a little bit better.
I love it. Oh man, that's great. But I know usually about this point in the show, we like to ask, what is some words of encouragement that you would have for the next generation coming up? Whether it's about playing the sport or about your academic life or both, or from just a life perspective, all in all. So what is something that you would recommend or give on to the next generation?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think I could think of a lot of different things. But I think one thing that's really important is having a relationship with the Lord, and that was really integral in my life, and really at moments of success in my career playing, that relationship with the Lord was really fruitful, and there's just I can't claim any of the glory for anything I did. I mean, it's all Him that He gave me the ability to play and these opportunities, and it's all to Him and His glory. And being rooted in the faith and spending that time reading the Word and in prayer is so important. And the glory is really important.
Definitely.
I think that keeps you, humble on the field. It helps you to be a better teammate with players around you. It helps you to be a better person in the classroom, being willing to do the work and staying humble and not being prideful. I think that's really important.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you're actually the first person. We've had other Christian athletes on here as well. And everybody does allude to their relationship with Christ, but to actually dive in how it affects your life and how you can help it to affect your life, you're the first person to put that into words rather than just said, hey, here's my example, but actually specify it. I don't know if Dylan and Aaron feel the same way, but that's actually what I've kind of gained from it a little bit throughout the whole show, not just at the end. So
definitely putting him first and letting everything else fall into place.
Yep, absolutely. And moments when I don't is moments when I fail.
Most definitely right there.
I can do it, and I can't. It's all Him, not me.
Right.
That is something that I can see as I reflect, on my past. That's when I've failed.
For sure.
As we're all sin, fall short of the glory of God. It's all Him.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah.
Love it.
For sure.
Love it.
But we appreciate you coming on. Hopefully we can have a big reunion with you, your dad, and Gabe on here as seeing all 3 generations slowly, and then maybe your sister and brother when they get to the college level. I don't know if your sister's playing, and as soon as Keegan gets old enough to get there and stuff. But yeah, we'd love to have you guys all on together and be able to kind of share the differences and the similarities in y'all's games and stuff like that. But we do appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, definitely, man.
For sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for the invite. Would love to do that. I think
it was good catching up with you too. That was the other plus.
Yeah, so good. So good to see you guys.
It's been a while.
Doing well. I think this is awesome that you guys do this, and you guys got to keep it up and keep going. And I'll definitely be tuning in and listening, and
appreciate it.
Awesome. So love the podcast.
Appreciate you, brother.
Yeah, man.
And with that, this is the Athletes Table.